Hey guys, what's up? You're watching iGyaan, and after many years of waiting, Xiaomi is finally launching their Mi notebooks in India, and it's all starting off with this Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition. My name is Bharat Nagpal. Let's quickly unbox and take a first look at this device. So let's quickly get started. Now first things first, the packaging is quite minimal and you don't get a lot of things inside the box except for a lot of styrofoam. You get the Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition. You get the 65 watt wall charger, and we'll talk about this in just a minute. And you also get a simple quick start guide which also doubles up as your documentation. And finally, a webcam, which is a Xiaomi webcam, will also be included in the box, and we'll talk about this a little later as well. Now right off the bat, the first thing you'll notice when you look at the Mi Notebook 14 is how minimal the design is. It's got a smooth finish metal unibody construction, much like MacBooks, but we've got a separate sort of bronzish tone to this silver hue that is on the exterior. There is no branding on the top lid or the bottom or anywhere on the laptop except for the Mi logo just under the display. This makes it very subtle and the overall design is extremely muted. Once you open the lid, you'll also notice a very familiar design, again reminding you of MacBooks, but we've got a chiclet style scissor keyboard, very nice laid out keyboard, and there's a good amount of key travel here as well. You look at the display, that's where all the major action is, because it's a 14-inch display, very minimal bezels on all sides. It's an anti-glare display, which is excellent, and it's got a 16:9 standard aspect ratio, but a refresh rate of 60 Hz and a 1920 by 1080 pixel resolution. We've got a 1000:1 contrast, but the brightness is only 250 nits, which might turn out to be a problem in certain scenarios, especially considering that it's an anti-glare display. But because it's an anti-glare display, it means that you won't get glare, and of course it means that you won't get your lights or your light bulbs reflecting off the screen and coming in your way, so you can always view the screen fully, which is appreciated, especially if you're indoors and working on the laptop for long periods of time. It reduces strain considerably. Now just under the keyboard is the trackpad. It's a fairly large glass trackpad and it does support multi-touch input, and it also just support gestures, so you can use two fingers to scroll or multiple fingers to flip around things on the screen. Works really well, is extremely responsive, and ties in with the software quite well in the initial impressions that we got. Now let's talk about ports. On the right side you get a USB-C port along with two USB 3.1 ports, a full-size HDMI, and the charger port which will accept your 65 watt wall charger. And on the left side you can see air vents along with a USB 2.0 and a headphone combi jack, which will allow you to connect your headsets. Now you also have stereo speakers on this, so you get 2x2 watts stereo speakers, and you also have DTS audio processing. But powering everything on the inside is an Intel 10th generation 10510U i7 Comet Lake CPU, which has got a boost clock of 4.9 GHz, and you also get a discrete GPU, which is the NVIDIA MX350. This has 2 GB of GDDR5 RAM, and for the notebook itself you get 8 GB of 2666 MHz DDR4 RAM. You also get 512 GB of NVMe M2 SSD, which is already installed, and it has a rated speed of 3000 megabytes per second, which is absolutely brilliant. Now this new Mi notebook will get Windows 10 Home Edition and also Office 365 for a month of trial, and some additional cool features included with the laptop include the Mi Smart Share, which allows you to transfer files between Xiaomi laptops and Xiaomi smartphones using the Mi Smart Share app. This allows you to send data like images, files, documents, anything, much like AirDrop but on Xiaomi devices. You also get Mi Blaze Unlock. Now if you have a Mi Band 3 or a Mi Band 4, you can configure it to unlock your laptop without the need to enter a password. Now a few things about the notebook that do bother me is that there is no webcam on the notebook itself, and Xiaomi does include their webcam that you can slide onto this notebook easily and start using it via USB. But the problem with that is that it's not always on you, and if you forget it someplace and you travel with the notebook and you don't have a webcam, then it can be a problem. On the flip side, if you work for a company that doesn't allow web cameras on the notebooks, this comes out to be a good thing. So there is a win and a lose situation there, especially with work from home becoming becoming a popular thing, a web camera has become more and more popular nowadays. Now, USB-C charging is becoming really common nowadays, and the previous edition of the Mi notebook that we have actually uses a USB-C wall charger. This time around, however, Xiaomi has included a charging brick, which is pretty clunky, and it uses a standard DC port to charge up the laptop. Now, this is not ideal for 2020, and I would have liked to see a USB-C capable charging on this notebook, and I haven't seen that, so that is somewhat of an issue for me. Another thing is the anti-glare displays. While they look amazing and they work in almost all environments, they don't attract fingerprints or smudges. They're not the best for photo editing because they do tend to lose out a little bit of the sharpness, and also not the greatest for video editing because the colors sort of become muted. The 250 nits of brightness is also a limiting factor, especially if you're doing image editing or video editing, because you do need that additional brightness to look at your footage, which the 250 nits will limit, especially with the anti-glare display, which also mutes the brightness slightly. Now, with respect to performance, we played PUBG Lite on this because playing full-fledged PUBG would have been an issue. We managed to get a really good amount of performance from this. There is also a performance shortcut in which while using the machine, if you press Function and K, it goes into a turbo mode or a performance mode, which basically pushes all your resources to the max. And once you're done gaming, you can press Function and K again to go back into silent mode, and the fan speed lowers down, especially if you're working around people who are resting. So if you have somebody in the room sleeping, you don't want your fans running at full, so you can press Function K and reduce the volume of the fans and bring it down to a silent mode. Now, we'll be testing this notebook in depth. We want to see how well it performs with gaming, with benchmarks, and how it is as a everyday usable laptop, and we'll come back with that in a couple of days. If you guys have any specific questions about this notebook, let us know in the comment section below. If you want to check it out, we'll leave links to buying this in the description below as well. If you like this video, guys, don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already a part of Team iGyaan. This has been Bharat. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one.